What's the next hypothetical?
Okay. Would you rather lose an inch from your head and give it to your Johnson, or vice versa, an inch from your Johnson and give it to your height? Like, would you rather be taller with a small? You know what I mean? Myself, I'd rather want to be closer to dunk, so I'd chop off an inch in my package to get that one extra inch and get that much closer to
No,
dunking.
bro. Not even close.
You're not
I mean,
actually
Smoke
chopping.
and I are both pretty short guys, and I'm pretty sure I'd still get
I'd
up an inch
still-
of height for an extra inch of wiener.
Would you?
Yeah.
I want to be able to dunk.
Hold on, I want to find this exact post actually because it was this thing on Instagram. It's kind of funny.
By the way, you're not actually chopping it off. It's just you're just losing it.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, there's no harm being done to you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of 7 Days Makes 1 Week. I'm Freddie P in the place to be. You can catch me outside. I ain't running. I ain't leaving. Been in corners every season. Slap shots, Easton.
Yeah.
Getting
close.
money, we'll squeeze them.
Yeah.
I say all that to say Nico's not here. Producer Zach's behind the cameras and the microphones, and I am joined by a former co-worker of mine / good friend of mine, Edmonton rapper / fitness coach. Well, actually, just rapper / fitness coach and jeweler. What name should I even call you? Smokey, aka Coach K, aka Seven Side Smoke, aka Big Smokey, Little Joints,
Yeah.
aka
Just don't
I'm
call me by
Moroccan.
my government name.
I'm from Morocco. Can I talk about the Morocco thing?
Yeah.
Weeks within meeting Smoke, I'm very intimidated by the guy. He's, big tattooed guy. I hear that he had just gotten out of jail, blah, blah, blah. We're co-workers together. I talk to my co-workers. They're like, oh, we're having a party. Come down, whatever. So I go down to the party. It's just a bunch of us hanging out at this penthouse downtown. And there's this, real hot girl that Smoke's trying to hit on. And she says she likes Asian guys. And Smoke says, I'm from Morocco. And I literally almost fell out of my fucking chair laughing because I thought it was so fucking funny. I like dudes from Asia. Well, I'm from Africa.
Close enough, right?
Did it
Anyway.
work?
No.
No.
Ah, shoot.
But it doesn't matter. It's not about if it worked. It's about if you took the shot.
True enough.
Take the shot.
You actually told me that so many times, and I shoot or shoot.
Yeah.
Shoot or shoot.
Shooter's gonna shoot, bro. It's not about how many times it goes in. It's about just take the shot.
Anyway, Smokey, what's going on? How are you,
Chilling.
dog?
Good, man. Just living life,
All right, so as I had alluded to, Smoke has had quite the life that I know him to have. We'll get into as many details as I know about. He's told me that there's nothing really I can't bring up, and I like the controversy a little bit, so I'll bring up a couple things that we'll dabble on. So, born and raised in Edmonton?
Yeah. I was born and raised, born in the Royal Alec downtown, and I lived on the Victoria Trail for the first few years of my life. Went to Fort Saskatchewan, came back, and then I went to school out in St. Albert. So I kind of lived everywhere around here.
In the Baywood.
The Baywoods, yeah.
The Baywood Bully.
Traveling out the Baywoods, yeah. On 24th Street,
So then you got into the life, you started out of high school, blah, 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 lived whatever the life you lived. You became a drug dealer and a rapper.
Yeah, the cliche drug dealer / rapper combo.
Which one would you like to talk on first? I know that before you had gotten to jail, you had started your rap career and you had done some opening sets for some performers in Edmonton and had some verses from pretty famous artists. I know Lil Durk was one of them.
Yeah, that was a really dope feature actually. And then we had a feature from I got one from Styles P, and from Frenchie from Brick Squad Mafia, like Waka Flocka's boy. Shit. So we were doing it pretty big then. I got featured in Double XL right before I got locked up, and I actually had to see the copy of the magazine in jail. Like a guard brought the copy of the magazine in.
That sucks. Did he ask you to sign it? No, I'm just kidding.
I wouldn't have signed it for his bitch ass, but he did bring it in and kind of slid it under the door, and
that was kind of cool.
Gave me 20 minutes to just kind of read it, and I had to give it back. We can't keep it,
Yeah, but that was kind of alright.
Yeah, it was dope.
But then your life took a kind of shitty career or a shitty change. $375,000 worth of drugs, cocaine, buffing agent, ecstasy, marijuana, and psilocybin. So you weren't exactly nickel and diamond.
Nah, we was doing it. We was getting money, Go big or go home, right? But I don't know. It definitely like it's not always what it seems either. You know, the media wants to like make you out to be like a monster and try and like scare people as much as possible, but I don't know. Them numbers just seem big in the media. It's not really like it's not like Tony Montana shit. You know.
You weren't Scarface.
Nah, hell no.
Not even Edmonton Scarface.
Nah, we wanted to be, but it wasn't there yet. You know.
So then that led to, as I used to talk about a lot in your music, especially in the songs True Story 1 and 2, 1800 Nights. I know there's a couple others, but those are the ones that stick out in my head. You went to jail, you got caught, audio, visual, there was a setup, you got stung for the whole thing, and you ended up doing 5 years in jail.
Yeah. Sentenced to 15 and a half, globalized it. Only had to do the longest sentence, which was 7.5, and then served about 5 of it before I got parole. So. It was definitely wasn't like the lightest sentencing.
No. And I know I think it's True Story 2, you're out about spending all the different birthdays in jail. Yeah. 27, 28, 29, 30.
Yeah.
How does that just feel to reflect on? I remember when you first, because you and I met you not long after you had gotten home from jail.
Yeah.
Like a few months.
Yeah, a couple months, yeah.
And then I just remember talking to you about different things, about how things had changed in those 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Is that still a weird thing for you to reflect on even after being out for the 3 years or whatever it's been?
Nah, you know what? It's sometimes I look back and I remember the way that it felt getting out. And
you went in with baggy jeans, came out with skinny jeans.
Yeah, you go in and everything's fashion is one way, even social media. When I went in, you were just able to start sending DMs on Instagram when I went in. That was a brand new feature when I went to jail. So it's coming home and seeing just the way things had progressed, especially with technology. Man, think about it. 5 years ago, we were on iPhone 8.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how fast shit changes in 5 years. It's I never even seen the Rogers Center. The Rogers Center was a hole in the ground when I went to jail.
And you came out and I remember your halfway house was blocks away.
Yeah, the whole downtown was different. There was skyscrapers that were never there, casinos, hockey arenas, everything. That shit all went up in the time that I was gone. I came home, Greyhound station's gone, fuck everything, bro. It was big changes. It's not these little things that you just happen to notice. It's your whole world kind of gets flipped upside down.
Someone else that I knew that had done multiple years in jail said people think that your life stops, but he's it's not actually like that. Your life pauses and everything else keeps going. Mm-hmm. And then when you get out, you're supposed to play catch up to where they got to.
Yeah.
Is that a good way to describe it?
100%. Exactly. It's everybody else's life, the audio track just keeps going and yours gets paused. And then once you get out, you got to try and catch up to where everybody else is. You got to try and adjust and associate yourself with the proper, even terminology and things that are acceptable and stuff, right? When I went to jail and when I came home, as far as the LGBTQ and shit like that, the woke culture and all that. Not saying I don't agree with a lot of it, but it's just you come home
it just changed so much.
That wasn't a thing, it wasn't a thing, and then you come home and man, it's people are literally being arrested and losing their jobs and fucking shit for things they say on social media, and that wasn't a thing when I went to jail. It wasn't. I don't know. It was just different. It's just different, the woke culture and all that kind of stuff.
You gotta hold your microphone up a little bit more.
Okay. It's that's it's different, bro. It's fucking real different.
So yeah, we just wanted to talk because you do reference, your past a lot in your music, and there's a lot of darkness in your music. You're not exactly the popping bottles, making club hits by any means. There's a lot of darkness and grit in your music. Is that just a way to get that out, or it's just kind of what your life has been?
Man, it's just I feel people will connect with you if you allow them to understand you authentically, So it's I can make the popping bottles records and do all that stuff, but it's that's not really me, I don't party, I don't really drink, I don't do that. So it's for me to get in the mindset where I want to make a party song. It's it's hard. I'd rather just let people tap into me authentically, because then when they do, they feel my music on a different level, And thing about pain is when you talk about pain, whether you've been through the same pain as me or not, the same situations, I can't judge your pain levels. You can't judge mine. So like something that you went through that I might think is not a big deal, like that was devastating for you. So pain is like a universal language, right? If I'm talking about pain, like everybody understands pain. Everybody's had heartbreak. Everybody's had devastating moments. Everybody's felt loss. So it's like if I can speak to you in that language, then I'm gonna be able to touch more people, you know?
Yeah, because there's a lot of reference to like friends lost, time spent in jail, and one thing that I mean, you and I worked together for like 2 years or something like that, and we were like the Saturday crew. We always worked together on Saturdays, so you'd always spit your verses to me and whatnot. And then a lot of the things that you mention is like you do glorify the drug culture a little bit, but one thing I've always like appreciated about you is you also like don't lie about the shitty side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yo, this is going to like I've literally I couldn't even name names, but I've seen dudes that are in that lifestyle come to the shop and you're like, bro, you should not be doing this anymore. Like you should reconsider your life path. And then since coming out of jail, you've definitely reconsidered your life path. Yes, you kept with the rap music, but you're also now a personal trainer and a jeweler.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever see your life going that way when you were younger?
No, hell no. No. I to be honest, bro, like I'm about to turn 34 in November, and like that was never really a number I ever expected to see, you know? So it was like when I was younger, it was just kind of like as long as I made it through the day and we were doing what we wanted to do, like we were good, you know? And I see people, like I see a lot of the young boys too right now that they have that same mentality, which is like that's why I try and give them advice whenever I can. Like I never tell them, yo, you shouldn't be doing this or you shouldn't be doing that, because everybody has their own reasons for doing what they do. But like there's ways to do it and there's ways to like move from it. Like the goal is not to get in the game and stay in the game. The goal is to get in the game, get ahead of the game, get out of the game. You know what I'm saying? So it's like people forget that that's really the end goal. But like you see a lot of these guys where it's just like, man, life is short. You got to live for today. And it's like, yeah, you do, but
It doesn't have to be.
it does. It doesn't have to be. And you know what? Like, man, like I get it. You want to live to the fullest. You want to do all the cool stuff. But you know, I was talking to Shorty last night. We're having like this deep talk, and I told her like, yo, it's not about nobody. You're not gonna die, and people are gonna be like, oh, that chick was so cool. She went and got drunk in Barbados on a yacht one time. Like nobody says that. You know, it's all about the shit you leave behind that like continues to influence people when you're gone. It's like your family and like the morals and the character that you display, because like when you display like your morals and your character and you stand on everything, you're the same person every day. Like people will remember that. People are not gonna care that you made money. People are not gonna care that you had the baddest girl on your arm. People are not gonna care that like you were partying and living this lifestyle. People don't remember that because eventually everybody that knew you dies. So everybody that knew you personally is gone off this earth. And the only thing that continues to live on with your name is the stuff that you do that gets passed down through generations. And nobody, you don't pass down parties. You pass down like wisdom and morals and character. That's what you pass down.
And companies like
Yeah.
the fitness company that you had started with your good friend Shot. You want to divulge into that a little bit, and then we can get back to jewelry.
Yeah. Yeah, so when I was in
You
jail,
used to weigh what?
240 pounds.
And he was somewhere around that too,
he,
right?
He was around like, he was pretty
300,
close to
right?
like
Yeah, I think I've
280
seen
or
him
something.
post that he was close to 300, yeah.
Yeah, so he went through like his fitness journey. Like he started his fitness journey when I was locked up, and I started my fitness journey when I was locked up. I lost about 70 pounds in jail, and I got to the point where I was running like boot camps for heavier inmates and stuff twice a day. So we go do the boot camps. I started learning how to create programs, and
And you just did that because you were tired of being fat?
yeah, because I was tired of being heavy and all that. And then so we do that, and then when I came home, I was like, you know what, I got to get certified. You know, I got to get certified. I want to do this for real. And that was before I worked at the Diamond Boys. That was before.
And during, I remember you had to go to classes sometimes.
Yeah. So like I signed up for school, and then when Case gave me the opportunity to come and be part of the team, I still had already been signed up for school, so I still went through with the schooling and got my certification. So yeah, there was days where 5 days a week I'd work from 9 a.m. till 5, and I'd run down the street for class at 5:30, 5:30 to 10:30 at night. I'd go to school for 4 months. So we did that, put that work in, and then so now I'm certified. I take certain one-on-one clients. I do a lot of online coaching, and I basically just try to promote like a healthy lifestyle whenever I can, bro. I'm not perfect. Like, I just quit vaping, so I got rid of the vape and that stuff, and I drink here and there. Like, I have a couple of drinks, whatever, but for the most part, I try and promote a pretty healthy lifestyle, and like health is like the new cool.
Yeah.
People undervalue like the one thing they only give you one body. You don't get another body done. So you ruin your body, and it's like, man, your quality of life is so dependent on how you feel.
I've always thought about that with your brain when people are like super reckless, whether it be like sports stuff or like drug stuff. It's like, man, you can't fuck with your brain. You can't repair that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you take a big hit to the head, or flip off the dirt bike, jump and crack your head, snap your neck or whatever.
Yeah,
like, you only get one of them, But that's not to say like don't take risks and don't go have fun and do the things you love. But it's just like, man.
Well, I seen you doing backflips off boats in Kelowna.
Yeah. Yeah, we was doing some white people shit that day. That shit was fun.
So that's so funny. Earlier in the podcast, I told him that like sometimes I'd be going to like Diesel and hanging out with like drug dealers and shit, and then the next day I'd be doing white people shit, and he's like, white people shit, but you understand white people shit.
Yeah, white people shit. Yeah, white people shit. It's just just activities that you can do that don't really push the envelope like beyond a certain extent.
But sorry, we got a little sidetracked.
Or activities that push the envelope way past where the fuck
that's
you should
also
be.
white people shit.
Yeah.
That's Kicks white people shit.
Yeah.
Full send.
Triple backflips to fucking golf, like anywhere in between.
So back to the fitness company. Sorry, you just took fitness really seriously when you got out of jail. Did you and Shaw know each other before you went to jail?
Yeah, in passing, like we knew each other from the city, and he shot a couple music videos for me and stuff like that, but we weren't really close like that. And then when I got out of jail, I went to a tattoo appointment. I told him to come through and see me. I had this binder and like folder of all these ideas and stuff that I wanted to do when I came home from jail. So he kind of like sat there for like 4 or 5 hours while I was getting my tattoo, and we just like talked about it and went back and forth. And we didn't start the fitness company together at that point. We just kind of like, that's when we started like really parring with each other. And then at one point, we kind of looked at each other, and I was like, man, like, I need to start making some money on fitness. And he was like, yeah, you should. Like, you're smart. You know what you're doing. And he's the media guy. So we kind of just got into it where we're like, you know what? Why don't you take care of some of the media? I'll take care of doing a lot of the program creation. Let's just do this together because we both have a love for fitness. So it was a good fit.
So that's King of the Jungle Fitness.
King of the Jungle
Shot and
Fitness.
Coach K. You can find that on Instagram.
Yeah.
Back to the jewelry store.
Mm-hmm.
You did know Kicks for a lifetime friend, I would say. At
Yeah.
least close to.
Probably my oldest friend in the world. The one that I still have contact with, yeah.
And then everything happened that we had already alluded to. You came out and you were doing like asphalt roofing, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, flat roofing, fuck that shit.
Which you described was like the worst thing ever.
Oh, hell yeah. That was like, I would have been selling drugs in 3 months. For real. I'm not even joking with you, bro. I don't know how people get up and do that stuff every day. Salute to the people that do. And it's not bad money. It's not.
Because we had one right across from the shop, and they were doing it one day, and he pointed out, he's like, yo, that's what I used to do. That shit smells terrible. That's this, that's that.
Man, it's a lot different than it used to be, too. Like, it's a lot easier now to be a flat roofer than it was, like, 15 years ago. But now we had a terrible experience where we ripped up a roof one time, and it had this carcinogenic in it that they used in the 50s that it's illegal now. And it just got all on our faces. You don't feel it, but it's the sun activates it. Heat activates it. So as soon as the sun came up, it was like, bro, we had chemical burns all on our face, our hands, everything. After that, I was like, nah, bro, I gotta be out of
Where
this.
the bricks at?
Yeah. I was like, yo, somebody gotta throw me a Hail Mary right now, or else I'm jumping feet first off the porch again.
And then the quarterback for the Hail Mary was Kicks,
Yeah.
which hopefully we can get Kicks and Shot on the podcast one day.
Yeah.
But Kicks is the owner, operator, founder, CEO of the Canadian Diamond Boys Gold Teeth Canada, the company that the two of us met working at, that you are still employed at. So he just offered you an opportunity to stay on the straight and narrow?
Yeah, he basically just said, why don't you come work for me? I got an opportunity. I need a salesman. I know you have sales experience. So why don't you come through? And Dow was a big part of that too, because I was
Yeah, DJ Dow Jones, for all those that don't know, he partnered with Kix probably like 5 years ago now or something like that.
Oh, more than that. Yeah, they've
Or I
been together.
don't really
They've been
know.
together a while now. I think it's like 7 years or something.
So he was he at one point was one of the biggest rappers in Canada way back in the day, and then he became a DJ. He's toured with a lot of people, member of Shadyville, the DJ crew associated with Shady Records and all of that jazz.
Mm-hmm.
And then he also became a jeweler. He's like the leading custom jeweler at the jewelry store, and he really took you under his wing in that kind of sense.
Yeah, he was my first personal training client as well. He just kind of got sick of how he was looking, and I was doing the flat roofing, and I went in the shop one day, talked to Kix, and I just told Dad, like, yo, I'm not certified, but I'll train you for free. Like, we can start going to the gym, and you know, got him in some pretty good shape. We spent a lot of time together, and when a few weeks later, when that position opened up, Dow really put in for me on that one. So yeah, it just kind of all lined up. Like, the universe just kind of gave me what I needed at that moment to stay on the path, you know.
So do you want to talk about that, about being a jeweler and some of the crazy shit that you never thought you'd experience in your life, from, I don't know, having fucking $100,000 necklaces and watches on your body, to some of the places you've gone, some of the things you've seen?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. It's like, for real, it's definitely it's a culture shock, because it's like, that's where I was like trying to get to before I went to jail, you know? And then I went to jail, come home, and it's like, I get to this point where I'm wearing like expensive watches. I'm out doing cool stuff, and I'm like, man, like, I made it, but I just made it in like a different way, you know? Broke at a higher level, right? Like,
Broke at a higher level.
yeah.
Rich broke, as fucking
yeah.
what people would say.
Yeah.
Which piece are you wearing right now? I see you're wearing a chain. I'm assuming you have a piece on it.
Yeah, I got my custom
The
piece.
7-side smoke
Yeah, the
piece?
7-side smoke piece. I'm building another one here right away, but I don't know.
I have mine on, but
Yeah, you got the custom J. That's,
Yeah.
man, that shit's dope.
I mean, yours is dope too because it's like your logo.
Yeah.
Well, what's the new one you're making?
It's a 7-side smoke logo, like the text. We're just
okay.
we're just gonna make it like a nice, like
Kind of like Dallas Spend the Re-Up, but
kind of,
logo?
yeah, and just like
Same concept,
just
kinda?
flood it out. Yeah, we're gonna do that here.
You have also, like, what are some of like the most namesake sales you've made, things that you remember, clients you've had, things of that nature? Like, I know we've had, I mean, it doesn't seem like that big of a flex, just the one that I can think of off the top of my head, but it was kind of cool. Like, we just randomly had like a Saskatchewan Rough Rider come through one day and get a custom pendant made
Yeah,
for one of us.
that guy was super dope. Yeah, there's there's a bunch of CFL players that rock with us. We just did a chain and pendant combo and ring for Skip to Fame, one of Drake's homeboys. So he's a really good dude, really good person.
I remember the Raptors DJ Dow knows, doesn't he?
Yeah, Four Corners, DJ Four Corners. He's the official Toronto Raptors DJ. He came through and did his grill and a couple other things. Yeah, man, it's cool. Like, you're in a position where like a lot of like these people that are kind of almost seem like celebrities are out of touch or out of reach for most people. It's like you're in a circle where like them people just kind of gravitate in. So it's kind of cool, the experiences you get to have.
Yeah, you really never know who's gonna like walk through the shop door. That's one of the coolest things about working there.
Yeah, we got to move out that neighborhood though, because you really never know who's gonna walk through the door.
Yeah, that neighborhood's a bit sketchy.
Yeah.
A little bit sketchy.
Yeah, we're
A lot of bit sketchy.
Yeah, we're the hood jewelers, but we're not trying to be that hood no more, you know.
Where's the shop at? What part of the town?
Like 97th and 106.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Like
Fair
straight
enough.
up in the hood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Can't
there's
keep
multiple
a-
days where it was like Smoke and I are there late, and he's like, "Yo, text me when you get to your car, dog." And it's like,
Right by the
Yeah,
arches
right.
there, the big red arches. In Chinatown?
yeah,
Kind of,
like,
yeah.
You know where like Showdown Tattoo
Yeah.
was? We're the top floor of that
Same
building.
building,
Oh,
yeah.
That's a cool building.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can't.
it is actually a very.
You can't
cool
keep
building.
a pane of glass on that building right now on the
Yeah,
main floor to
I
save your
saw
life.
that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Dang.
Is there anything that you, in any of his careers or after listening to music or anything, have any questions about?
Yeah, I just wanted to know. I mean, it's probably a cliche question, but it was like, what was one of the first things you did when you got out, food wise or activity wise, or something you were waiting a long time to do?
Took a walk. I remember that you like
Yeah.
hit our chat.
Yes.
You just like took a walk because you could stay out longer than whatever time.
Yeah, I put my headphones on and I went and walked down into like the river valley and just walked for like 4 or 5 hours. I went and
Slick.
sat and watched like a soccer game by the Kinsman and just got a coffee and just like kept walking, bro. I was sore the next day, but it was so worth it, you know.
That's wicked, man.
Yeah, that was probably the biggest thing for real. That was like when I was like, okay, I'm really free.
Because, like, smoke shit was real, dude. Like, his PO would randomly stop by the shop. We'd have to be like, oh, yeah, he's here. He's like, oh, he just ran to the store. They'd be like, we're like, no, literally, he's across. Watch him walk out of that building. Like,
Dang.
his shit was real in the field, man.
Yeah, I had to fucking. You got to tell them like every time you go somewhere, you know, like even if I'm driving, like, and I stop for gas, I got to call the halfway house and tell them like I stopped for gas at this address.
Yeah.
You know, so it was pretty heavy every
You gotta
month.
make sure if you go into a restaurant that like you can't even really go to restaurants because you don't know who else will be there, and that could fuck you up.
Yeah.
You can't go
Or,
to
like,
a
it'd be in the
nightclub because you
presence
don't
of-
know who else could be there.
Yeah.
That could fuck you up.
Yeah, it's just like you got to kind of keep yourself out of the situations that might not be your fault. You know, like you might put yourself in a situation where somebody else does something and you were just present for it, but like they don't care. You're on parole. It's not the same as like just being like a civilian. Like you're literally on parole. You know, so yeah, it didn't take much to send you back. So, but we did it. We successfully did it. It was a team effort. There were some days where I was ready to make dumb decisions, and you know, the team like just tell me like, yo, man, like, you know, this event's not that important, or this function's not that important, or this trip's not that important. Like, you're okay. Just
I remember. I mean, I'm not a big influence on your life, but I remember even having those conversations with you.
yeah, it's hard because you see everybody else having fun, living life, and you just want to like get back to it. You feel like you gotta like catch up a little bit, but you're being forced to slow down. And
There was 100% times where we would all have a party, and Smoke would have to literally sit there listening to all of us make the guest list, make the party, say all the fucking theme, blah 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 blah, and just be like,
I can't make
fuck,
it.
like I got to go back to a fucking halfway house.
Yeah.
And all of my coworkers are gonna go. It's Fred's birthday. We're all going. Kix is gonna take me to a club.
The
Blah
Chuck
blah
E.
blah.
Cheese's or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. The Chuck E. Cheese, play
Yeah.
skee-ball. This fucking Smoke can't come. You know.
yeah, no, for real, man.
That sucked.
But hey, man, like pressure makes diamonds, right? It's just you either jump the hurdle or you don't. You don't get a choice, right? You either quit living or you just continue breathing. Like that's really it. That's when people say like, "Yo, I don't know how you did that much time." It's like you don't got a choice, bro. Like you locked up in a cell, concrete, razor wire, fences, all that shit. Like you either keep breathing or you stop. That's really your only choice.
One of the things that I'm sure that you were very happy to get back by referencing another one of your lyrics is you were in the cell masturbating for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
How was that? You broke the
Man.
couch at the shop.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, like, madam couldn't, if I was at the halfway house, couldn't go, like, slide with a shorty, couldn't go, like, nowhere, and I didn't want to tell my PO and shit, so, you know, like, that coach, rest in peace to that coach, is gone now, you know, but,
A couple days I'd show up to work and he'd be like, yo, what time are you supposed to be off today? I'd be like, 3. He'd be like, look at his thing. He's like, yeah, you're going to leave about 1:30. I'd be like, all right, bro.
You got someone coming
no
by.
problem.
hey, man, it was a struggle, you know, we're just out here trying to live. The halfway house didn't want to let me live, so.
I'm assuming that was probably one of the things that you miss most in jail, clearly.
Man, it is, and then, like, you get to a certain point where you don't even fucking care, bro.
Fair
Like,
enough.
and that's the scary part, where,
You,
like,
really remove pussy from the pedestal?
well, yeah, it's like, man, it's just like, it's not important no more. Like, you're trying to survive, you're trying to eat, like, you're trying to, like, literally, like, play politics every day. You're trying to fucking, it's like, pussy's not even on the table, so it doesn't become important. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not even an option. So it's just like, after a certain little while, you just, like, stop even fucking worrying about that shit because you got too much other shit to worry about.
Surviving.
Yeah.
Is it hard when you get home to not make it, like, take over your life?
Man, it just really, like, I feel like everybody will react differently to it. I see some guys come home and pussy's all they care about. And, like, year into being home, pussy's all that they've been chasing. They've been chasing no money, success, nothing. They've just been chasing pussy for a year. Well, you see some guys come home and they don't care no more because it's just like they lost their sex drive a little bit. Like, you went to jail and spent fucking 7 years, 8 years around a bunch of dudes. Like, after a while, it's just like, fuck it, you know? So everybody reacts to it differently. For me, I, like, came home, like, looking for love, you know? I came home, I, like, healed my heart a little bit, and I felt like I corrected a lot of shit about myself in jail. I took a lot of steps, so I, like, came home, like, looking for a family and shit. Found out it was 2022 and these hoes ain't loyal, you know?
Oh, yeah, you still a city boy, toxic boy for life.
City boys for
we up.
life, city boys we up.
Back before I was taken, man, smoking, I would talk about our Toxic Boys for Life, City Boys We Up stories.
Hell yeah.
They were a great time. It was a great time.
Hell yeah. TB4L, baby.
What about food? What was like? You've told me that the food in jail is absolutely terrible. But then when you came out, like you're very like strict when it comes to food. You're just like a chicken and rice vegetable kind of guy.
Yeah, I got a little bit better, but yeah, I'm pretty like I'm just routine, bro. Like it's like I'm just routine. Like I can't just like, oh, this is what I'm eating today, and then like, oh, I wonder what I'm gonna eat tomorrow. Like, nah, I gotta like know. And I think that's like a jail thing too. It's like you have the menu and you got the 30-day menu, and you just know like this is what you're eating every day. So for me, it's like come home. I'll make sure, and it's a health thing too, right? I want to know how many calories I'm putting in my body, make sure that I understand I'm getting the right macros and stuff. So
I got a question about that.
Mhm.
What is this whole macro thing? I keep hearing reference to it. What is that?
macros is just the science of counting like caloric total, protein, carbs, and fat.
And that's the most important things you want to get in your body?
Yeah, it's basically like, so when it comes to calories, like every form of sugar is a carb. So like everything from like literally pixie sticks to like fucking, no, not steak. Like everything from like
Bananas.
pixie sticks to like broccolis and bananas
Okay.
are all a form of like glucose, which ends up being carbohydrates, right? So like based on how much like protein is for like building muscle, carbs is for energy, it's like fuel, and then fat is basically like flavor. Like that's how you think about it in a very simplistic term. And there's always a perfect amount of calories for you to either grow or maintain or lose weight or whatever. And it's just like a scientific formula that we use to determine like how much you should be eating per day to achieve the results.
Big beast carving up his house. Anything else, Zach? I've kind of described where Smoke's at, his story as well as I know it. Anything else either of you would like to talk about?
What was the process of getting certified to be a personal trainer?
Man, there's a few different ways to do it. So you can take like a weekend course, which is like CanFit Pro. It's like 72 hours, and they'll certify you. I wasn't really a fan of that. I wanted to like get as much education as I could. Next level is like a 4 to 6 month program, which is like what I took. I did it with Elevated Learning Academy here in the city. And then you could do the kinesiology program through like NATE, which is like a 4-year program or 2 to 4 year program, depending on like how far you want to go with it. And that's like the most extensive. So it just really depends on A, like how much education you need for what you want to do, and B, how much money you want to spend to learn it. Fair enough. Right? Because you can learn the same amount. Like kinesiology is a little bit different, but if you're really dedicated, you can learn the same amount that I learned. You can go get the weekend course, and then you can self-learn. But it takes a lot longer. You don't have anybody really like coaching you on the mistakes, the do's and the don'ts, stuff like that. So I felt like it was worth the extra money to get that education.
Sorry, there's one more thing I want to mention. You've just released the second installment of a 7-part album series that you're doing, based on a true story, 1 through 7. The second one came out, like a week ago? 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Last week.
But this will come out in like a week or two. So, a couple weeks ago. You can find it on Spotify. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on iTunes Music, all that stuff. Zach's listened to it. I've listened to it. I was a ghostwriter for a couple tracks. Just kidding. I like to give Smoke a hard time. There was one time where he was rapping, and the line was like, he said like a shooter like Chris Paul, and I was like, you should change that to a shooter like Devin Booker. And he was like, why? I was like, because Chris Paul's like a pass-first point guard. Devin Shooter's a scorer. He's like, oh, okay. And then I've forever given him a hard time that I'm his ghostwriter. Yeah. Because I told him one fucking basketball reference.
Hey, man, we good, though. We got to give you the ghostwriter.
Speaking of basketball, just a little side note. Did you watch the new Netflix thing, Redeem the Dream, about the 2008 Olympics?
The Redeem team?
No,
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
It's pretty good, I thought.
Yeah, it's pretty decent. Yeah.
I'd be trying to fight my way through Jeffrey Dahmer right now.
Oh, I watched the first episode.
10 minutes at a time. I'm
You're
like,
out?
Did you see the
yeah,
meme that Francesco sent about that guy's like, if I wanted to see a white guy kill a bunch of black dudes, I'd watch the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, and then just a bunch of pictures of Luka Doncic
Yeah.
like crossing people over and dunking on them and shit.
Holy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
man.
was tough, man.
Yeah, that was Jeffrey Dahmer's a wild show too. That shit, like, I watch a lot of fucked up shit and a lot of like murder shows and serial killer
I knew
shows.
the story. That's the thing.
And
I
that
knew
one,
the
like,
whole
made
story.
me uncomfortable, man. Watching that shit made me
I
uncomfortable.
knew the story, and like watching it, I'm like, nah, bro. This is like somehow way worse.
And there's like the worst part is there's even more heinous shit that they left out that
Yeah.
he did to like the dead bodies
Apparently,
and stuff like that.
apparently, when the cops that arrested him, he told them that had they come like 2 months later, the house would have looked a lot different. He had planned on having like an altar and shrine of all the dead bodies that he was trying to like preserve and shit.
Yeah, he was gonna make a throne to the
Yeah,
devil out
man,
of like the
that's-
bones of
that's
his
wild.
people.
I wasn't
Apparently,
interested.
when like he would kill them, he'd like perform oral sex on them and shit like that after they were
Man.
dead. And he
Yeah.
like went into detail about that, like real.
That's-
fucked
I wasn't
up
really
shit.
interested in pursuing the rest of that series after that.
Yeah. No.
I
yeah.
watched the whole thing, but it was wild.
I haven't watched the whole thing. I'm just like, nah, I can't. Bro, every time I'm like, yo, I can do it. I'll put it on. I get 10 minutes and I'm like, I can't do this shit. Man. I can't do this shit. This white boy is crazy. And it's like,
I love that he kind of looks like Connor McDavid.
Does
Man.
he?
So fucking funny, yeah.
yeah.
Even like some of the radio stations have posted the memes and shit. There's like some scenes where it kind of looks like it's like kind of like Connor McDavid. It's funny as fuck.
Yeah, they do the face swap on some of the memes and stuff. It's pretty fucked up.
You don't even really have to, man. I like told to my girlfriend, I was like, he kind of looks like Connor McDavid. She's like, holy fuck, he does.
Once
And she
you
sent
see it,
me,
you
like-
can't unsee it, though.
Yeah, and then she like sent me pictures of like Now Radio and shit doing the next day. Like, doesn't he kind of look like Connor McDavid?
Maybe I should throw one of those pictures up on episode.
Yeah, you should. So what else do you have planned with the rest of this rollout? Clearly, there's 5 more albums to come. Videos come out weekly on Instagram. I've been sharing them. Maybe I'll try and share some of them to the 7 Days Makes 1 Week Instagram account.
Yeah, we're just doing that weekly videos. Every 7 weeks we drop a new mixtape. So until we get to number 7, we got mixtape 3 is getting mixed and mastered right now. So we're doing that at Soundproof Studios. My dog Chubbs is taking care of that for me. And then I think I've got the lineup already for 4 and 5. I think 4 is gonna be like a groundbreaker. Once we drop 4, I think like that's when people are really gonna be like, okay, this is for real. Because I listened to the whole tape 4 front to back the other day, and it doesn't miss. That, like, in my opinion, for real. But then again, everybody loves "Catch Me Outside," and I fucking hate that song. It's like everybody's favorite song. Everybody's like, "Oh, catch me outside," and I'm like, man, fuck. Like that song was like, that's like
I
my,
like that one.
but
That's
it's
my
like
favorite one off
it's like-
that album.
It's like my only song about nothing.
I like the hockey
We
reference.
talk about nothing.
You know what I mean? Like when you know, like Seinfeld, like the show
Yeah,
about
the
nothing.
show about nothing.
It's
yeah.
like that's how I feel about that song. It's like "Catch Me Outside." It's like it's just me like flexing a little bit and like going back to that.
I really
like,
just like the slap shot East. And
Yeah.
That's what I like too. That's
yeah.
just-
I guess like yeah, it's like it's got some wordplay and stuff. Like I don't get me wrong. It's just like, you know, everybody got their own preferences, and for me, like that song just didn't like hit the way it hit for everybody else. Like, that's the song that's most requested. Like when Dow gets requested in the club, it's always "Catch Me Outside." Like it's.
How often do you perform, or do you perform?
We did a performance at Sober Up for the first mixtape release, and I haven't performed since then. But there is talks of a possible tour in the new year. So I'm not gonna say too much about it. Don't know if we're gonna be able to lock it in or not. But if we do, definitely
more to come.
you get the drop on it yet.
We'll definitely share that for you for sure. Not that we'll have much of a reach, but we'll do what we can.
Hey man, we just do what we can. You know, that's it.
Exactly. My favorite song off part 2 is "True Story 2," although it really just alludes to your jail sentence and stuff like that, which is like yet again like a dark topic and things like that. But that's my standout song on that album. Which one is your favorite song off the most recent release?
Man, I like "Locked Out of Heaven." "Locked Out of Heaven" was like special for me when I wrote that, because like it's just like it almost just kind of like makes me like really reflect on like some of the stuff I've done, and like trying to like redeem myself a little bit. Like, not that I feel like everything I did was irredeemable, but just kind of like
Some of it was pretty heinous.
yeah, it just expresses like my frustration at like being put into situations where I felt like I had to make certain choices, and now I feel like I'm paying for it, you know?
Yeah, like you rap on, I can't remember exactly what song, because the last 2 or 3 days I've just been really listening to it, so it's all kind of blended together. Yesterday I had to drive to Grand Prairie and back for the other dealership, so I probably listened to both the albums like 3 or 4 times. But like you rap about that there was a time where it was like your homie, and then you were feeding him, then he fucked you up. Then another song, one of your co-inmates, I don't even know how you say that, cellmates, whatever, was telling you that he had to like fuck up or take the life of his best friend because he caught the play that was going to happen before it happened and had to do it. He had no other choice or something like that.
Yeah, those are both real situations as well. Those are both true stories.
And like that's just got to probably be one of the worst parts of the game.
Man, you can't trust nobody, for real. It's like you can't even trust your bitch, bro. You can't trust your brother. You can't trust nobody. I seen people that had 10, 20-year relationships like snake each other over a little bit of money. So it's like it gets pretty deep.
Do you feel like the more you're not in that world, the more you can trust people, like as a quote unquote more of a civilian?
Sometimes, it's still hard to trust. And I don't think it's like necessarily smart to give blind trust to just anybody. But I find that I'm like actively practicing, try to give trust beforehand, and give people the ability to break that trust or to keep it, because if you never give them that trust, like they could be showing you and proving to you that they're trustworthy, and you're just like not willing to give it. It's like that could ruin the relationship. So sometimes you just got to get a trust. If that person is important enough to you, just get a trust and let it be their job whether they break it or they keep it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's also your actions, right? Like, one of the reasons I got hired at the Diamond Boys is because they knew I was a trustworthy guy, right? And I never did anything to not show that thing, right? So,
yeah,
your actions go
just stand on your character, right?
Yeah.
Just be who you say you are. To be honest, like, I don't even care if you're a good person. If you're a piece of shit, you're a piece of shit. But just, like, stand on that. Just, like...
Yeah, that is actually always one thing you always told me, too. You were like, Fred, people like you because you're not a tough guy. You're never going to be a tough guy, but you don't try to act like a tough guy. And that's why tough guys are cool with you, because you're not trying to be that guy. Mm-hmm. Which I guess leads back to that. If you're going to snake in the end, don't try and be the tough guy.
Yeah, just be authentic, man. At the end of the day, that's really what it is. Just be authentic to who you are. And just stand on, like, your actions, That's it.
Any other questions? No? One thing we do every week is Zach usually has a couple random facts for us, and then sometimes a would you rather that gets a little weird. We'll see what he has for us, but we got to do that real quick.
All right.
What kind of facts you got for us?
I got no facts, but I have two hypotheticals.
All right.
Hypothetical number one. Is it cheating if it's with a robot?
What?
Like, because you hear Elon Musk is coming out with all these worker robots, so the next logical step will be sex robots. So is it cheating on a significant other if it's with a robotic device?
I would say not if they, like, know about it. Well, I guess it's never cheating if they know about it.
I don't know if it's cheating, but it's weird as fuck.
Well, obviously it's weird as fuck, but it's just...
It's like, at that point, are you really worried about the cheating, or are you more worried about, like, the mental state of the person you share life with?
Yeah, yeah.
Because, like, I don't know necessarily, like, if my bitch came home and she's got, like, this, like, robot, she get fucked off by
Is
this
a
robot.
vibrator much different than a robot, though, really?
Well, this was more of a man cheating, because I don't think women are in a hurry to fuck robots.
Well, I mean, they already kind of do.
I guess.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, everyone's definition of cheating is different. I'm sure some people would find that cheating and others wouldn't. Some people find porn cheating and others don't. Some people, I'm sure, find fucking a pocket pussy cheating while others wouldn't. I mean, it kind of comes down to the girl. I don't necessarily think it would be, especially if, like, you guys are all cool with it. If they were, like, keeping it a secret from you, that's kind of weird. Like, you should just talk to your partner about what you're into, but... Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say that was cheating.
I agree with that. I'm not the robot fucker by any means, but, like, if you gotta hide it, it's probably not right.
There's some shit going on, yeah. But if you're comfortable with your partner and you're like, yo, listen, in theory that should be no different than if you were really into, like, fucking feet or something like that, and you go to your partner and you're like, yo,
this is my thing.
I like feet. Don't wear socks around the house or something. Like, yeah, it's a little weird as far as I'm concerned, but hey, if that's your thing and your partner want to do it, go ahead.
What's the next hypothetical?
Okay. Would you rather lose an inch from your head and give it to your Johnson, or vice versa? An inch from your Johnson and give it to your height? Like, would you rather be taller with a small... You know what I mean? Myself, I'd rather, like, want to be closer to dunk, so I'd chop off an inch in my package to get that one extra inch and get that much closer to dunking.
Bro. Not even close.
You're not actually chopping.
Smoke and I are both pretty short guys, and I'm pretty sure I'd still give up an inch of height for an extra inch of wiener.
Would you? I want to be able to dunk.
Hold on, I wanna find this exact post actually because it was this thing on Instagram. It's kind of funny.
You're not. By the way, you're not actually chopping it off. It's just like you're just losing it. It's
Yeah,
just-
no, I know what you're saying.
yeah. There's no harm being done to you.
This post is actually pretty funny. Did you know all like mathematically we're all more hung than horses?
Yeah, I read about that.
So hold on. The average horse weighs 1,000 pounds and has a 20-inch dick. That's a ratio of 50 pounds to 1. So the average man weighing 200 pounds needs only 4 inches of dick to be hung like a horse. Be proud, fellas.
Holy fuck.
I read that a while ago too. That's a good one.
So you could add that to your line. So yo, I'm mathematically speaking, I'm more hung than a horse.
There you go.
I hope. I mean, I can't speak for you, but
Another Ghost Rider moment.
anything else you'd like to say while we're here? Plug any of your businesses, your rapping, your anything?
Man, just Seven Side Smoke on all social medias. We're on TikTok, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram.
And that's the number 7 is the first letter of every word.
Yeah, so it's Seven Side Smoke, but instead of S's, it's sevens, like the number 7. So
We'll link it in the description.
Yeah.
Of the
okay,
YouTube
yeah,
video.
we'll do that. So, man, we got sevensidesmoke.com right now. Merchandise is available. We got all sorts like
War on
hats,
Drug
hoodies.
Veteran.
Yeah,
That's the one I think I might have to buy.
some pretty cool designs. And right now until like November 15th, if you make any purchase on the website, your name and your email are automatically entered into a draw to win a free 6-pack grill or the equivalent of store credit from the Diamond Boys. So
Sweet.
yeah, we're doing that. And
Maybe we should grab some merch and wear it on the next episode or something.
yeah,
Yeah,
you know what? There's digital downloads too, so you can purchase like singles for $3. You can purchase the album and get that for like $15 or whatever. So it's like you don't have to spend $40 to be entered into it. Like even the $3 purchase enters somebody into that
Or to
draw.
support.
Yeah, exactly. So that's it, man.
Fitness company.
King of the Jungle Fitness on Instagram. Hit me up. One-on-one is pretty booked, but we're doing a lot of online coaching. Online coaching is really dope. It's the new wave. So online coaching is best for people that understand their way around the gym very slightly and are not afraid to kind of step out on their own with minimal help. The online programs guide you, but you have to be able to be self-sufficient. So that's the best kind of client.
And you don't have to be overwhelmed if you're not that much in the gym. You guys have programs that you
Yeah,
a lot of body
absolutely.
weight and stuff like that.
We custom build them to your abilities and your technical knowledge.
Perfect. Well, thanks for joining us. Another episode of 7 Days Makes 1 Week, man.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
you.
Let's get it.